Hi everyone, welcome back. Thanks for joining me for episode 17 of the Ellie Crafts podcast. For those of you that are returning, thanks for coming back. And to those of you that are new to my video channel, podcast, whatever you want to call it, thank you so much for joining me. I do hope that you'll find something here that you enjoy. I predominantly share my knitting experiences, but I have been known to do some crocheting. I'm starting to learn a bit of cross stitch, and also I've done a little bit of sewing in the past, and I want to take that up a bit more realistically or consistently, is that the word? So yeah, welcome. I have quite a lot of things that I want to talk about today, so this may be a longer than normal episode. My winter warmer make along has come to an end, so I need to announce the prizes for that. I have quite a few finished objects that I want to share with you. I am going to be having a pattern released very shortly, so there's that. I have some incoming stuff to show you, and I went to my first ever yarn festival, so there's a lot been going on. I am going to kick off by sharing with you my finished objects though. So get yourself a drink or a snack or something, and let's get stuck in. So if I look a bit stupid, it's because I've put on all of the finished objects that I could possibly put on, just so that I can remember what ones I have to show you. I've gathered them all together, and yeah, so here they are, most of them. I have one that is blocking at the moment, but let me kick off with the Bark Lines shawl. I showed you this in my last video. I was working on the Bark Lines shawl, which is by Hohi Locatelli, and the yarn I've used is called Gathering Storm, and it's by Rhapsody Yarns, who are on Etsy. I don't have the little cards and stuff. I think I showed you in the first, the first time I showed you this as a whip. I showed you all the information then, but you can check it all out on my Ravelry project page. Anything that I mention here I will have posted on my Ravelry project page, so if you want to find out more information about particular projects, do check out my Ravelry project page. All the information is in the description box below. So the Bark Lines shawl looks like this. Rhapsody yarns in the colour Gathering Storm. It's a kind of a lacy project with some really easy garter stitch ridges. So if I take it off, this is how I wear it. I've been wearing it to work, and this is how I wear it as a scarf, because it feels really nice and warm around my kind of openish coat. But of course, people wear these shawls the way they feel like wearing them. So it's a triangular shawl, looks like this. I have tried to get some decent pictures, so I got my my camera, went out into the garden, got my son to take some pictures of me wearing the shawl in different ways, and I'll try and insert them into the video here, so you can have a bit of a giggle at my trying to make it, trying to show how versatile the shawl is. But it's a triangular shawl. That's what it looks like. It's a beautiful, beautiful yarn. It's so soft and squishy. That's what it looks like. It's a what do you call it? You call it a speckled, that's the word, speckled yarn. So that's what it looks like. It's really lovely. It's got the garter stitch ridges here, and then you've got like a twisted rib sections. It's really nice with the lace edge. Now, I didn't block it as vigorously as I perhaps could have done. If you look at other people's projects on Ravelry, you'll see that they have blocked it so vigorously that you can see the definition a lot more with these bits. They're very pointed, but I don't have very many blocking mats, and so I couldn't stretch out too much because it would have just started going on the carpet. So I kind of did it as much as I wanted it. I mean, you can still see the pattern, you can still see the lace edge there, and I think it's fine, and I really love wearing it. It's so squishy. I actually wore it to unravel, but then it got so hot I had to take it off. But yeah, so that is that. That's my first finished object, and you'll notice I'm wearing the hat. So take that off. I'm going to take each layer off as I remember it. I tried to buy some yarn. I think I mentioned it in my last video. I tried to buy some yarn to finish off the border, and the dyer had to dye up a new lot of yarn for me, a new skein, and so the colour was slightly different to the original skein, but you can't tell on the shawl. But I doubled it up for the hat, and that's what it looks like. I doubled it up for the hat, and so you can really see the difference between the two here. This one's got like neon kind of yellow and green in it, and this one doesn't. But it's the same yarn, it's just a different dye lot. So for the hat, I decided I started off by trying to make the barley hat basically. I doubled up the yarn so that it became DK weight. This is actually a fingering weight yarn, but I doubled it up so it became DK weight yarn and made the hat. And the hat was meant to be the barley hat, and then I thought, oh, why don't I put in some twisted rib so that it actually matches in the pattern the shawl, so they kind of tie in together. So that's what I did, and I just improvised as I went on, and that is the hat. I used all the information from the Barley Hat by Tin Can Knits on Ravelry. It's a free pattern, and I made the hat to match, so I'm really pleased with that. That goes in my bag when I'm wearing the scarf, and the two go together. I'm thinking that when they get washed, I think I'll wash them together, and maybe the colour will kind of start to match a bit better, because this looks a lot more kind of whitish, whereas this one's a lot more blue. You can see the difference there, but I'm not really that fussed. I still wear them as a matching set, and I'm really happy with them. So that's my first two finished objects. I was going to say whips then. First two finished objects. I made an amigurumi hedgehog, but I think I've already given it away. This is what it looked like. It's on my Ravelry page. I found a pattern on Ravelry to make the Diddy Hedgehog, I've called it, or they've called it. It's called a Diddy Hedgehog by Sarah Lyons, and it was crocheting. I wanted to do a little bit of crocheting, and so I did that. I don't think, I may have put a squeaker in it. I bought some squeakers on eBay to put inside of them so that they're more than just a little toy. They're a little bit, there's a little bit of an interest for a young baby. So, but that one's been given away, so I can't show you that, but that's another finished object. Let's see, the hat I'm wearing on my head is my biscuit hat using my pattern, and this is in the colour Midnight. So if you see the cardigan I've got on here, this is Midnight yarn by Woolly Mama Yarns. It's the colour Midnight, and I just used the leftovers from the last ball of yarn to make the hat. Doubled up the yarn to make it a double knit weight, and used my biscuit hat pattern and made the hat. And my head's obviously quite big because it's beanie style for me, as you can see. Fits the way I like it to fit, and it's quite snug. Could be because I've got a ponytail as well. Fits quite snugly on my head, and I really like this. Not sure if I'm gonna, I don't know if I'm gonna keep it or give it away, but I made this because I had leftover yarn and I wanted to do something with the yarn. I didn't want it just sitting there. So this is, as I said, my biscuit hat, which is available on Ravelry to buy. It's got a lovely cuff brim here, interesting brim detail here, and a slip stitch pattern goes around it. I don't know if it's showing up. It's quite dark, so it doesn't show up so well. In person you can see it more. You can see it more in person than on the screen, but that's what it looks like. Really pleased with this. Very snug fit, really nice, and of course it's blue. So my next finished object is what I'm wearing, my cardigan. So you guys will know, if you've been following me on my podcasts, you will know that I've been struggling with this cardigan. This was the Hohi Locatelli Longline cardigan, and if I get on my knees you can see what it looks like. it's got like a, what do they call this, where it kind of, it's got like a collar, I can't remember, like a shawl collar-ish cardigan. It's long enough that it comes down to here. I had the yarn, the body of it is a hand dyed yarn, which is by Woolly Mama Yarns, same as that I got from this hat, although the hat is a slightly different colour, you can see. That's why this was turned into a hat. I was intending to use the yarn that I purchased from Woolly Mama Yarns to finish off the cardigan to make the sleeves, but like I said, it came out a totally different colour and I wasn't liking the way it was knitting up, so I decided to use some of that yarn for the hat and then put the rest aside. And I switched completely and decided to just finish the body in the original midnight colour and then just do contrasting sleeves in a navy blue. And I asked my followers on Instagram what they thought, what colour I should use to finish off in the sleeves, and if I should use navy blue. And a lot of people said yes, some people said rip it back, some people said just, you know, start again, reclaim the yarn. However, I decided I was going to just insert the sleeves in a different colour, so I went with the navy blue and I think it turned out alright. I'm quite pleased with the way it blends. The only thing that I found is this yarn is, where is it? Have I got it there? The yarn is a Sirdar country style yarn and it feels more woolly than this yarn. This is a kind of a soft superwash merino nylon base, and so it's nice and soft. This one, the Sirdar country style, is a little bit more scratchy. It's a different texture, so that's the only thing that I could complain about. I'm quite happy with the colour match. The thing that, it's a finished cardigan, I have been wearing it. I like the way that the collar kind of folds over and I can kind of wrap it around myself. It feels nice and comfy and cosy. This is all kind of a rib. That is all 1x1 rib here, and then it goes into stocking stitch for this part of the side and around the back, and the sleeves are stocking stitch, so the detail is in the collar and the shoulder bit here. I can't remember, I was looking in a book yesterday and there was a name for this kind of collar where it kind of, where you continue the stitches down to the sleeve. Can't remember what it's called now, but yeah, that, I like the way it fits. It's a nice kind of comfy cardigan and I really like that. What I've noticed though is I think I did I went and did the sleeves a bit longer than I ordinarily would do them, because I felt that when I've been doing sleeves recently, they've not been long enough. Once it's washed, it feels like the sleeves are kind of shrunk a bit, so I thought, oh, I'll just do them a little bit longer. So I did them a bit longer and now they're quite long. If I just, like there, that's how long that is. They're like that and they're stretched. I don't know if you can see that, they're quite stretched out, so I'm thinking about redoing the cuff. I think the needle size was a 4mm or 4.5. No, 3.5. So I use needle size 3.5 all the way through, 3.5mm, which is a US 4. But I'm thinking that because I've done them on bigger circulars, it feels like it's just stretched out. So I might just undo, my plan was to undo the cuffs, rip it back a bit more, a bit further, and then redo the cuffs using my 3.5mm. I've got now got some ChiaoGoo 12-inch circulars in a 3.5mm needle, so that might kind of tighten up the rib section a bit so it's a little bit more fitted. And I think I used an extra stretchy cast on and it doesn't really need it for the sleeves. I think I could just get away with the ordinary cast on, one over the other, but just kind of loosen it slightly so it has a more fitted cuff, because that is like flopping. And I end up, when I've got my coat on, I end up turning the cuff over because it's so long, and then look, it's still long. So yeah, I'm thinking about redoing that. But other than that, I'm quite pleased with the way this cardigan is. It's very comfy. I like to wear it. It's lovely and squishy and soft. and it is just, yeah, I'm happy with the way it's turned out in the end. I would have preferred it if it was all in one colour, but I'm happy that I didn't have to rip it all out and just reclaim the yarn or do anything silly. So you know, I'm happy that I've been able to complete the cardigan, and I actually now have a cardigan to wear, so I'm really pleased with that. So that is that. So that's this is the long line cardigan by Joji Locatelli. I think it's quite an easy, let's say it's an easy knit. After you've done the shoulder section and the wrap and turns, she did wrap and turns for the sleeves, and I've never done anything like it. I found that really interesting. I actually enjoyed doing the wrap and turns for the sleeves, to inset the sleeves and then knit the sleeves up, because I'd never done it before, and it kind of, to me, it looks quite neat. I like the way it joined. It was quite neat. I did have to look up 2 videos on YouTube to find out what she meant by doing a wrap and turn, because she wasn't exactly very descriptive in her instructions for how to do that. So yeah, so I figured that out. I watched a couple of YouTube videos and then found one that I thought was nice, because I think I tried the Very Pink Knits one at first, and it was leaving a funny pattern detail on the front and then a different pattern for the back, and I thought for one side it was looking one way, and for the back of the sleeve it was looking another way, and I wasn't keen on that. It was like it had a little lace kind of pattern on the front and just a plain pattern on the back, and I wasn't sure that I liked that. So I tried another video and I tried that way, and that was fine, and I liked that one better. So I ditched the Very Pink Knits video and used another one, and I'm pleased with the way that the sleeves turned out. So yeah, so that is that. How much more can I say on this? That is it, I think. I did this in a medium, which is meant to be a 36-inch bust. It has about, I think it probably has about 2 inches of ease, really. Or so yeah, it's nice. It's just nice and comfy. I would consider making another one, just because I like the way it fits. The shawl collar is really nice, and I just like it. I would make another one, but it took so long for me to do. That's the thing that would put me off doing it. It takes so long because it's using a fingering weight yarn, and it goes down to just beneath my bottom. So you can imagine fingering weight and that long, it just takes a long time to knit it up. But I am pleased with the actual finished product, so I would think about making it again, but not too soon. Maybe, I don't know, maybe next year or something like that. I might think about doing it in a different yarn, but not straight away. So yeah, but yeah, I am pleased with it. So that's another finished object. Then I have managed to make an octopus, crocheting again. I thought I'd use up some leftover bits of yarn, and I found a pattern on Ravelry. This is the mini amigurumi octopus. I haven't actually sewed the eyes on yet, but and I didn't put a squishy in here. I was obviously a bit excited to finish it up, close it up. I didn't put a squishy on there. It's quite an easy pattern. I think it was a free pattern on Ravelry. It's called Mini Amigurumi Octopus by Sarah Hearn, and it's crocheted. And it's quite easy. It's just single crochet or UK double crochet for the body, and then these I think were treble crochets. Treble crochet, UK double crochet. Is that right? I think that's right. And it kind of just curls on itself. Really easy pattern to do. I am a beginner to crocheting, as you guys should already know. So if I think this is quite an easy pattern to do, then I think that a beginner like me would be able to do this quite easily as well. Did I have any issue? The only issue I had was that I managed to use up all this coloured yarn, the multicoloured yarn, and so I had to finish off in an orange. But it's just a toy. It was just me trying to use up some leftover scrappy bits of yarn, and yeah, it's good. The next, I think I've done 2. I've done 2 of these. I've done one in an orange, and I've done this one. I think the orange one I put a squeaker inside it, but this one I was obviously a bit too excited and decided to just finish it off. I used, what size needle for these? 3.5mm needles. That gives you a kind of a closed fabric, so you can't see the stuffing inside. So yeah, really pleased with that. Haven't tried sewing any eyes on yet because I'm not really sure who this is going to or if it's going to anyone. I just wanted to use up some scrappy bits of yarn and I thought I'd make some toys. So yeah, so that is that. And get a bit of crocheting experience in. Speaking of crochet, I was given some cotton to work with, and unfortunately I've left it in my drawer at work. But I was given some cotton. I was given, what's it called? Dishcloth cotton. And I decided I was going to make a dishcloth with it because I hadn't ever made any dishcloth. So I think the blue is Garn Studio Drops, Loves You 8 in the colour navy blue, and then this one is some other kind of dishcloth cotton that I'm not quite sure of the branding because I can't remember what I've done with the label, but they're just cotton yarns, and I use, what size needle? I think it's 4mm needles. 4mm needles, and I came up with this pattern that I found on YouTube. It's called Dishcloth Love. That's the pattern here, Dishcloth Love. It is by Laura Suominen, and sorry it's in black and white, but I was printing that off. It's Dragonfly Mum of Two Designs. The pattern was free on Ravelry, and I thought I would give it a go because I've never done any dishcloths before. So it's like it's got like, hopefully you can see that, heart shapes in each corner, and that's why it's called Dishcloth Love, because it's a dishcloth, but the love is intimated by the little hearts. And I did 2 of them, and I quite like them. I haven't used them yet. I'm thinking I might, instead of using them for dishcloths, I might actually use them as bathroom cloths or something, bathroom washcloths, or I don't know. Depends on how soft they are really, so we shall see. This one feels quite soft, but this one feels a little bit more like a dishcloth type fabric, something for cleaning. This one, I think you can use it on your skin. So yeah, that's what the back of it looks like. It's quite raised, and it consists of, I think, treble crochets. They call them double crochets, we call them treble. That's right, double crochet US and treble crochet UK, and that's what it is, and some slip stitches. So yeah, check out the project page if you're interested in recreating those or taking a look at how I did those. What else do I have? Oh, I have my Greystone cardigan. So the Greystone cardigan, where's the pattern? This is by Sarah Cook Designs. This is what it looked like. I've just finished it off, but it's on the blockers. So this is it's like a boyfriend cardigan, but it doesn't have buttons, and it comes down below the bottom. It's got pattern detail on the back, and then it's just stocking stitch on the front panels. Really nice, easy knit. I think the pattern is really easy, very memorable, looks really nice. I really enjoyed knitting it up because it was just such an easy knit, and it's a DK weight yarn that is used for the pattern. I've made it in a 38 inch thinking I'm a 36 inch, and I thought if I make it in a 38, because it doesn't have the size measurements are not that what's the word, close together, so you've got 34 and then it goes 38, and I wanted a 36 for my size, but there isn't one, so I've gone up instead of down, thinking that with a cardigan, if I go bigger it's fine, if I go smaller it's just not going to work. So I've gone to 38 inches. Knit it all up. It's on the blockers at the moment. If you watch my Instagram, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll have seen I posted a picture of that, and I'll try and insert a picture here somewhere so you can see what it looks like. It's still wet, so I can't take it off. I was hoping to take it off and try it on and show you. The yarn that I have used is a Craft House Magic DK weight merino nylon yarn, and it is in the colour You Spin Me Round, which I really love. And I have really enjoyed working with the yarn. I've really enjoyed using the pattern. Such an easy pattern to follow, I think. The only complaint I would have about the pattern is that it feels to me, when I've tried it on before blocking, it feels to me like it should be bigger. It didn't measure up to the size that it was meant to measure up. When they give you like the dimensions of it on the last page, it didn't measure up to the dimensions. So I felt like I was gonna have to block it to get it to be the size that I want it to be. It fit, the sleeves fit really nice and snugly, but when I put it on, I find myself pulling it at the front to try and get it to come, try and get the two pieces to come together. Whether or not it's meant to do that, or if it's just meant to hang like this. I mean, the picture shows it just hangs. So maybe it's intentional that it's just a hangy cardigan rather than a kind of a wrap round. But I kind of like my cardigans to meet in the middle. So I'm blocking it so that it meets in the middle at least. There's no buttons to it, so it's not going to button up. But I like it to kind of come round me, if you know what I mean. So that's the only complaint I would have about that cardigan at the moment. This is before the blocking. Hopefully once it's blocked out, that should correct that problem for me. But if I was to make it again, I think I'd go up a size just so I got something a little bit more roomy to wear. So yeah, that's what I do. I'd go up a size. But other than that, I really like the pattern. I do think that it's very easy to follow. It's quite an easy, relaxing knit. The pattern is, the actual textured pattern is very memorable, and I would recommend it. Not necessarily to, would I recommend it to a beginner? I don't know. I think once you can do purl stitches, if you can do purl 2 together, then you should be able to do this. So I think maybe a slightly more experienced beginner knitter could do this pattern with ease, because the textured pattern is slightly tricky, but it's not difficult. Without trying to give it, without giving it away, it's a little bit more tricky to maneuver your needles, but it's not difficult. And I do think that once you look at the pattern that you're knitting up, once you've done a couple of repeats, you can see if you've made a mistake quite easily. You can read your knitting quite easily and realise, oh, I've done something wrong, and go back, and it's easy to correct. So I do feel like it is beginner friendly, but more kind of experienced beginner. So not advanced, but a more, someone who's been knitting garments for a while, possibly. So yeah, what do I know? I feel, I mean, I enjoyed it. It was easy to me. It was just, the only issue I have, like I said, is with the actual fit, and I'm hoping that blocking sorts that. So yeah, so that's that. So last finished objects, I'm going to show you some socks. So, oh no, not the socks. I keep forgetting. I did a cross stitch project and I keep forgetting to show you the finished object, and I left it in my box, my little finished objects box from last time, because I forgot to show you then. I picked up this little Quicklets pattern, cross stitch pattern from John Lewis before Christmas last year for my daughter to do when I started to get an interest in cross stitch. And she started it but wasn't entirely into it, and so I decided I was just going to finish it off, and so I finished that. That's my cross stitch penguin, and that is finished. Not quite sure what to do with it, but I finished it. So I may, I don't know, maybe I'll sew it onto a project bag or something. I don't know. I'm not quite sure what to do with it. I'm not inclined to want to hang it as a wall hanging of any sort, but I don't know. I don't really know what to do with it, but I'm glad that I've done it. That's what my stitches look like at the back, and I think I'm getting better at it, and I'm pleased with the way it turns out. I mean, it actually looks like the picture to me, so I'm good with that, you know. So yeah, that's my cross stitch project. Yay! then, like I said, I've done some socks. So if you've been following me for a while, you will have some kind of clue that I have been working on a sock pattern, which kind of comes off the back of the biscuit hat. The pattern is similar, only it's in socks. So I'm going to give you a peek at the pattern, and when it is released you'll have some idea of what it is I'm talking about. So these are my biscuit socks, and these are what I've been finishing. This is the pattern I've been working on. It will be available on Ravelry. But yeah, so this, it looks a bit odd here because these are for my daughter. So my blockers are a size 7 and her feet are a lot smaller. So it looks a bit odd here. But that's what it looks like. This is what my biscuit socks look like in a plain colour with a little bit of a two-tone effect here. And this is what it looks like in a lighter colour, variegated yarn. These are my size. So it is essentially, it is a vanilla sock with a bit of a twist, in the sense that you've got the pattern detail in the cuff, you've got a little bit of detail in the leg, but not anything complicated. This is meant to be beginner friendly, and then when you get down to the actual foot, it's just straightforward stocking stitch. So there's nothing complicated here. All the detail is in the top bit of the socks, just to keep an advanced knitter interested and to give a little bit of interest to the sock, but also to allow a beginner to practice their sock making, or even just to practice stocking stitch in the round. So yeah, those are my biscuit socks. So I will have more information coming up shortly once I've got to a stage where I can publish the pattern. Then I will let you guys know. I'll probably do another video just showing you, but these are socks I have just finished. These are finished objects as well. I actually did another pair, but I made a mistake on my own pattern, would you believe? How can you make a mistake on your own pattern? Crazy. But when you've been knitting a pattern for so many times, when you've knit a pattern so many times, your brain kind of switches off a bit and you don't tend to follow the pattern completely, and so you make mistakes. But that is the other biscuit sock that I have worked on in my size in a deeper variegated yarn. So this is the Summer Berries colourway by Jelly Beans Yarn, and this one was Introvert by Biff Sugar Yarns, and the pink one is, what is it called? I can't remember. The pink one is by Woolly Mama Yarns, and that is the colourway. Come on, let's see. Colourway Berry Lips, and it's got a bit of summer berries along the top there. So yeah, so those are my biscuit socks. So keep your eyes and ears peeled for when the pattern is released. It looks lovely in variegated yarns. It would look lovely as a two-tone sock. I think I have done a two-tone sock, but I don't have it here because it's been gifted already. And but it's designed just to be a nice, simple vanilla sock with a twist. So yeah, I'm gonna end my finished objects right there, and we can move on into my works in progress. Okay, so I forgot to show you my very last finished object, which is the Inner Snap beanie that I made for a baby in my family. I think I was knitting it up last time I showed you, and I hadn't actually finished. Very small one, in the Summer Berries yarn, and that's by Jelly Beans Yarns. Beautiful colour, just an ordinary beanie kind of hat. I think it's a free pattern on Ravelry, by Caitlin Griffin, and that is it. That's the baby size. I am working on the size for mummy, because I think I mentioned that I was going to make a mummy one to go with the baby one, just because I thought it would be cute. So I will show you that in a second when we move on into whips. First up, I started the Weekender cardigan, jumper even, And I kept seeing on the Cozy Up Knits podcast that they've been working on the Weekender cardigan by Andrea Mowry. I don't think I've printed the pattern. No, I haven't. But let me get it up on my screen and then I can show you what it looks like. Here we go. So the Weekender cardigan by Andrea Mowry looks like that. It's a beautiful casual type cardigan, I feel, and I've been seeing a lot of people make it up, and I saw Jamie from Cozy Up Knits do hers, and then in the last episode that I watched I saw she's done one, Chrissy's done one. Chrissy? Is it Chrissy? And Chrissy's working on one. Katie's finished one, I think. And, or is it Chrissy that's finished one? I can't remember, but they all seem to be doing the Weekender cardigan, and I'm just like, I want to get mine done. So I made a start on mine, and the yarn that I'm using is, let me see, I bought it in, where did I buy it? I bought it in B&M, which is a kind of a budget shop over here in the UK, and B&M stores, and the yarn label is Lauren Aran yarn, and there's 200 grams in a ball, and I have, let's see, I got this much left on the first ball, and I have done this much. Actually, I suppose I better turn it the right way around. You actually knit this on the wrong side, so oops, so this is what it looks like. This is how far I have got with mine, and it's quite an easy knit. It's got this like pattern detail down the front. It's a paid for pattern, so I can't reveal too much about it. It's just really, oh, the yarn is squishy. It's an acrylic yarn, I'm pretty sure. Oh, 75% acrylic, 25% wool. That's the information there. It is really nice and soft. I'm loving the way the colour on this. I have I made any mistakes so far? I think I have. I've had a stitch snagged at one point, so I've had to fix that. But other than that, I'm not a huge fan of the split hem, but I figured this is my first one, and if I like it anything near as much as Jamie and Chrissy like theirs, then I will probably be making another one, and on the next one then I could just do a normal hem and not the split hem. So that is my intention. So I've done I'm just going to stick to the pattern for this one, follow it as instructed, and then if I get round to making a second one, then I will make it without the split hem, because split hem is not really my favourite. I think I'm showing you the back. That's the front. Not that it makes a huge amount of difference, because the back and front are knit the same at the moment. So once I've done enough, then I will be splitting for the sleeves, and yeah, it is an enjoyable knit. I'm really enjoying it, but I have found that the way I'm holding the yarn in my right hand, where I'm holding the material in my right hand, I have had like a little bit of an ache in my right hand, so I've had to kind of put it down for a while, have a bit of a break before going back to it again. I was trying to finish up the skein of yarn, the ball of yarn, but I just couldn't do it. My fingers were hurting too much, so I've stopped for a while, put it to one side, and doing other things. But yeah, it's working up nice and quick, which I like. So it means I should have a jumper to wear very quickly, within the month I'd say, if not sooner. So yeah, so that's my first work in progress that I had to show you. The next thing I've been working on, I should have actually shown you before, the hat. So this is the mum's hat to go with the baby one. I bought another skein of the yarn just to make the mother hat. I'm trying to decide whether or not to put a pom-pom on the mum's one so that you can see the difference, but I bought a pom-pom maker, so a large one. So I'm not sure. It depends on how much yarn I've got left and whether or not it looks like it's going to suit a pom-pom made out of the same yarn. But it's working up nicely. I'm using my smaller Chow Goo set, what are they called? Shorties? Chow Goo circulars, and not a whole lot to report on this. I do a little bit, then I put it down, get bored, try something else. it's plain stocking stitch, and I think I've got to do a couple more inches before I can move on to shaping for the crown, which shouldn't take too long. Once I've done like the couple of inches at the top, then it won't take too long before the hat's finished. It's just getting to that point because the needles are small, and like I said, my fingers have been aching a little bit where I've been doing so much knitting. I was desperately trying to finish off the greystone cardigan, so I've been putting in a lot of work on that, and now my fingers and hands are tired, so I'm giving them a little bit of a rest. But yeah, this is the yarn, the Jelly Beans yarn in the colour Summer Berries, and that's the way it's knitting up, and I love it, loving it. So that's that. My last, no, not my last, I've got, that's two works in progress. I've got a pair of socks that I'm working on, which I have had this yarn for a while, basically, in my stash. It's Woolly Beans, Biff Sugar Yarns yarn in the colour Lost at Sea, and it's a lovely grey tonal yarn. It is so soft. It's merino cashmere nylon, and I couldn't decide what to do with them, so I figured that I'd just make my husband a pair of socks. And I've kind of done the first one, and I'm just kind of doing these just out of my head. I decided to do a twisted rib cuff, and then I got to the heel and I thought, oh, let me try a twisted rib kind of heel. So I've worked a twisted rib heel detail here, and I thought I might think about releasing this as a pattern, but I don't know. But yeah, so I'm working on this. I've got to here on one sock, and then I thought, let me do the other sock before I forget the pattern. And then as I was thinking about whether or not to do to try and make it into a pattern to release, I was watching a video by The Lonely Knitter, and she showed in her new socks. I think they're called the Scrappy socks. I've bought a copy of the pattern. Let me just see if I can find it. So she has come up with a pair of socks. Show us your scraps, the socks. And when I looked at her pattern, I realised that my pattern, my cuff, is exactly the same as what she's done for her sock pattern that she has just released. So I thought, there's no way that I can now put out a pattern for these socks when I've just used the exact same cuff pattern that she's just released a pattern for. It would look like I'm poaching her pattern and making my own thing out of it. So yeah, so I don't think this is going to become a pattern on Ravelry. I might just write up the details in Ravelry in case anyone's interested in doing what I've done, but it's not going to be, I don't think it's going to become a paid for pattern, because it kind of feels like cheating really when someone else has done it. So that's what the cuff looks like. Here was me thinking I was coming up with a unique style cuff, and she's already done it. I'm just like, wow. So there we are. Who knows what's out there, eh? Great minds think alike. So I've done kind of part of that, and then I got a bit bored. So then I started the second sock, and then I got a bit bored and my fingers started to ache. So I've put it down, and then I went on to the greystone cardigan, like I said. But yeah, that is a work in progress. That will get done at some point, but I don't know. I think I just want a bit of a break from socks at the moment, because it's working small things and lots of finger movement. So I just feel like I don't really want to be straining my fingers too much, because I want my knitting to be pleasurable. I don't want it to be painful. So I'm resting my fingers from that kind of heavy work. So yeah, so that's the third whip that I have been working on. And I also this week have to show you, I'm sorry, I'm looking at my screen to see if there's anything else that I've worked on this week. So I haven't done any work on my memory blanket, haven't done any work on my cotton top, but I have done a bit of cross stitch. So in my cross stitching world, I have in my Tudor Rose Craft Studio bag, I've switched things around to kind of fit. Oh, where's my badge gone? Oh, it's on the other one. Nearly freaked out then. I have a badge that I was given by Craft House Magic, Ellie from Craft House Magic, here it is. And I thought I'd lost it. It was pinned onto this bag, but I put it over here. I think I might take it off with this one actually in a minute. But yeah, so in this bag I've put my cross stitch, and I got this cute little needle minder. I bought this on Etsy, and oh, I love it. I just look at it. Look. I wanted to have a needle minder, so I bought this on Etsy from, what is the name of the woman? Let me see. Ah, where's the card gone? The name of the company on Etsy is Denkai Designs, and I ordered this on Etsy. I saw them, I needed something to hold my needle. I didn't need it, but I mean, who needs all these crafting accessories? I just wanted one. I thought it was cute. So that's what I got here. And it's got like a little button to pin it on at the back. And I'm really chuffed with it. Super chuffed with it, in fact. So there, I will talk a little bit more about it in incoming. I'll show you some photos that I took of the way she packaged it. So yeah, that is my, what is it? I got this from Hobbycraft. And I think I mentioned it in a previous podcast. It is going to eventually look like this at some point. And I'd already done one of the butterflies. I think it's that one. And then I thought, you know what, I'd done this section. I thought I need to just work a bit more around, you know, just get a bit more stitching in. And so I've done that much. You can see it's kind of, I guess that's the ears that I'm working on. I've filled in a bit down here and completed this section. I'm not quite sure how to work it. So I've been working in, like, first of all I was working in colours, in squares, and changing the colours every minute. And then I thought, well, maybe I should just work in colours. So I tried just working in that colour, as you can see, and then I'm thinking maybe I should work in squares by the graph, the squares on the graph. Maybe I should just do it per square, finish a square at a time, because I don't know, I like to see the picture evolving, and at the moment I can't tell what that is. That's why I did the butterfly, because I wanted to see something actually finished on there. And much as I like the fact that all of this section has been filled, I'm kind of like, well, what is that? I mean, who would know that was an ear without looking at the pattern? I want to see stuff. I want to see it forming. So I'm very impatient like that, I guess. I want to see what's going on with the design. So I've got a bit more work to put in on this. And I think Tina suggested that I use my ring light to work on the pattern, to do my cross stitching. But I don't know, I think she mentioned it in a previous podcast that she had visitors, and I think when you've got other people in the house and you're sitting at your desk with your light on doing your cross stitch, you're away from everybody else, and I feel very kind of antisocial when I'm doing my cross stitching, because I'm just sitting there in the light just doing my stitching, and it's like I'm in my little bubble. So I feel like I should do this when I'm on my own and not do this when there are, like, my husband and my kids are in the house, because I'm being antisocial, kind of taking myself away from the front room and stuff. So yeah, so I haven't had a chance to get a lot of work in on this, but I have done. I mean, what I did do, it took me a while. It took me a good couple of hours to do just this section here. So I really do appreciate when I see people working on their cross-stitch projects. Like I said, Tina from Simply in Stitches, the cross-stitch projects that she has come up, finished, and posted on her Instagram, I'm looking at them now with cross-stitcher eyes, and I'm like, wow, that must have taken forever. Before I actually started having a go at it, I was just like, oh yeah, that's nice, thinking nothing of it. Now I have like a newfound admiration for people that have the patience and the time and the eyes as well to do such close work, because it can be quite tough on my eyes. So yeah, so that's my cross stitch work in progress. I think that is all my whips. Those are all my whips that I have been working on. Now it's time to share with you what I have been buying, what's been coming in. So let me grab everything together and tidy up a bit here, and then I will show you what I've been buying, what has been gifted to me, that sort of stuff. So give me a moment and we'll go into incoming. Right, so incoming yarn. I've been at the B&M store, which is local to me, as I mentioned earlier, and I picked up these 2 mohair balls of yarn. Get them the right way up and you'll be able to see them. So it is a beautiful blue colour, as you can see, blue and white, and it's a mixture of 56% acrylic, says here 30% polyamide, 7% wool, 7% mohair. So it's quite a fluffy yarn. Needle size recommended is 7 to 8 millimeters, so I reckon that's a chunky weight yarn. You can see that there, although it doesn't really look so chunky, but maybe when it's knit up it feels a bit chunky. One of these has already been nabbed by my aunt, who came with me to Unravel. She's a new knitter and I wanted her to have a ball of yarn to play around with, so she's going to get one of these. Really lovely and soft. Not sure what I'm going to do with the other one, but actually, speaking of that, I wanted to ask you guys, if I do giveaways in future, I know that a lot of podcasts that I watch, they tend to give away hand-dyed yarn. How would you guys feel about me giving away commercial yarn that I have as well? A mixture of commercial and hand-dyed. So for some prizes I would give away like something like this, and for some prizes I'll give away some hand-dyed yarn. Let me know how you guys feel about commercial yarns in giveaways, because I'm not quite sure. I haven't seen anyone do that yet, so I'm not sure, but I'm not against receiving either. I buy both commercial and hand-dyed yarn, so you know, I'd be quite happy to receive any type of yarn, but I don't know what everyone's preference is, so let me know what you guys think. So anyway, on to some more stuff that I've bought. I picked up this Aran weight yarn from the same shop. Try and find the pattern that this was designated for. Right, so I had decided I was going to make the I'll Be There For You shawl by Marlisha from the Pen Hook and Needles channel, and I was going to buy some mandala yarn, but then when I was looking in the B&M shop I saw this Aran weight yarn and I thought that would probably be perfect for that actual shawl. So yeah, so I may so the plan is to use that. This is a 300-gram ball of yarn, and I think it's 100% acrylic. Yeah, it's 100% acrylic, it says it there, which I don't mind because it's lovely and soft. As long as it's lovely and soft and I can wash it, machine wash it or whatever, I can be rough with it if I want to. I can give it away. And what I've kind of thought about recently is when I give away things that I've made, how are people treating them? Because I had an incident where I'd given away something I made a hat and glove set for a relative, and I didn't actually give her instructions on how to wash the product that I'd made, and I made it out of single ply hand-dyed yarn. So she showed me a picture of it, what it looked like after she'd washed it, and it was completely ruined. Obviously it was washed on too hot a wash or too vigorous a wash, and so it's completely ruined. And it got me thinking that when I make these gifts for other people, I haven't actually instructed them on how to wash them. And I'm thinking, I don't really want to be telling people how to wash the things that they've been given, how to wash the knits. So I would much prefer to give them stuff that is very easy to wash, especially like baby things. I'd much prefer to give them like acrylic products, things that they don't have to worry about how to wash them. They can throw them in the washing machine and know that it's going to come out fine. No one, as far as I'm concerned, new mums don't have the time or the energy or the inclination to want to be hand washing something that I've gifted to them when they've got a new baby to deal with. So I kind of figure that I make baby stuff out of different stuff, not out of hand dyed yarn, because I know that they're going to want to just throw it in the washing machine with everything else they've got. No one, as a new mum, I know what it's like, and I didn't have the time or the energy to want to be hand washing knitted stuff. So, you know, I don't really want to burden them with having to worry about that kind of thing. So I thought, you know, let me know what you guys think about that, about washing. Do you send instructions out with your knitted gifts to people on how to wash them? Because I feel like that would just be a bit, I don't know, I just don't feel comfortable doing that. I'd rather just give them something that they can wash quite easily and not have to worry about it. Wow, so yeah, anyway, that was a sidebar. My battery is now flashing up as nearly dying, so I'm gonna just cut for a minute, switch over batteries, and then come back and finish off the rest of incoming. I knew this was going to be a long one. Just give me a second. Okay, so on to more wool. I have bought on, or been buying on the Wool Warehouse, more yarns, and I'm buying kind of with a kind of a project in mind. Generally, I'm trying to get myself into the mindset of buying yarn with the project in mind. And now I know that I'm going to make a baby item with this yarn, and I did look at what I was going to make, but I can't remember what I've done with the pattern. I'm not sure if it was the cardigan pattern I'm thinking of. I have to do all the calculations in terms of the yardage and stuff and whether or not that was really what I was going for. But I ordered some yarn on the Wool Warehouse website, and it arrived, and this is for baby. So I got 4 skeins or 4 balls of Drops Merino extra fine unicolor yarn. This is in the colour Amethyst, and it's a beautiful kind of pinky purple colour, because the mother of baby, or the mother to be of baby, is not a huge fan of pink, so I thought I would kind of do a kind of a slightly pinkish purple colour because she's having a girl. So so yeah, so I bought some yarn, and I know from experience that the Merino extra fine yarn is really lovely and soft. The stitch definition on this is really good. I made a green cardigan out of this for another baby, and I really love the way it knit up. Very solid feel to the yarn, very durable looking, and the stitch definition was just spot on. So I thought I'd buy this yarn and make up the baby, I think it was a cardigan. So that's what that was planned for. And look at the bag I got it in. This is my Woolly Ferret bag. Actually, what's it? It's not my Woolly Ferret, it's my Winter Wonderland bag, which I got from Lisa Saxton of the Woolly Ferret podcast. And that is what her podcast looks like, just so you, that's the name of her podcast there, just so you know. It's so lovely. So yeah, so that is that. Don't worry, there's another one going in the winter Woolmer giveaway, so that one's my one. Other commercial yarn, what else I've been buying from Wool Warehouse is this yarn. I've seen Jamie, Chrissy, Katie and Sarah on the Cozy Up Knits podcast talk about this yarn all the time, Cascade 220. So I thought I'd pick up some and see what it is like. And this, what colour is it? I can't even remember what colour it is. It's 1960, the colourway. I think it's aquamarine or something like that. But it's a beautiful kind of teal colour. Not sure that that is showing up true to camera, but it is so squishy and soft. I was amazed. It's a super, it says 100% superwash wool, and it is so, oh, it's got that crunch. When you squish it, you can hear it crunch, and it's lovely. These are 100 grams skein yarn, and of course the yardage is 220, which I think it was Jamie that said it. That was why she realised that the reason they call it 220 is because it's got 220 yards in it. I thought it was quite funny when she said it. But yeah, there you go. Cascade 220. And the project I have in mind for this, how many balls did I got? I got 5 balls of yarn. And the project I have in mind, and I bought the pattern for, is the mermaid top. and that's what it looks like. And this is Rebecca McKenzie. What is her name? Wrapped in Stitches or something like that. Let me see. I've got her on in my queue. It's in my queue. So Rebecca McKenzie. She's got a, gosh, she's on Instagram. I can't remember her name on Instagram, but this is her pattern. I want to make this top with the yarn I've just showed you, and I am hoping that it comes out nicely. It's got like a lace detail across the top, as you can see, and then the rest is more or less stocking stitch. So I quite like those kind of tops that have the detail at the top and then the rest is plain sailing. So then you get a little bit of interest here and a little bit of work, and then when you come down to doing the bust area downwards, then it's just quite an easy mindless stocking stitch knit. I quite like those kind of knits at the moment, so I thought I would pick this out because I've never done any patterns by her, and I thought it might be nice to try something new. And I liked the top. I like the look of the pattern. The detail on there I think would work for me. That's my kind of style. So it doesn't actually show what the back of the top looks like, I don't think, in the pattern. No, but yeah, I've seen pictures on Ravelry of how other people's tops came out, and I know that the back comes up, you know, up to the neck, kind of just the ordinary back, you know, straight across, not a low back, and that's what I like. So that is the yarn I'm going to use for that. I don't think I've got anything in this colour, so I thought that might be nice to give that a go. So yeah, so that is that's a couple of bits. Then, as I mentioned, I had been to Unravel. I went to my first ever yarn festival and I was completely overwhelmed by all the yarn. I went with my 3 aunts who are not huge knitters. They can knit, they can knit garments and other things, but they're not hugely into it as I am. I guess I have a kind of an addictive personality, in the sense that once I start something I just keep going and going and going with it and get deeper and deeper. I get down that rabbit hole with it, whereas they can kind of rein themselves in a bit better, I think. So yeah, so anyway, so we went to Unravel. I completely forgot to take pictures because one, I was overwhelmed by all the different rooms there, all the different yarn. Then I saw other YouTubers and I kind of was like, wow, all of this all in one place. And I just forgot to take pictures. I wasn't sure if you were allowed to take pictures in there, and then I felt a bit self-conscious wanting to take pictures, so I didn't take any pictures. But I did say hello to a couple of YouTubers. I will talk about that in a second. Let me show you what I bought. So I saw the Lay Family Yarn stall, and this beautiful vintage lace, I think it's called, vintage China yarn. Look at this speckled yarn. It is so lovely. Now this isn't how it was skeined up. I unravelled it to show my aunt what it looks like off the hank, and I'm no good at putting these things back and making them look pretty, so that's why it looks a bit manky like that. But you can still see the beautifulness or beauty of the yarn. And like I said, this is vintage China. It's a superwash merino and nylon base, and it's 100 gram skein. It's my first ever Lay Family yarn purchase, because every time I go onto their website and look at their yarn, there's never anything left of the yarn that I like the look of. So I spotted this, saw it, and thought, right, I'm going to get that. So I've got this. Not quite sure what I'm going to do with it. I just thought I had to have it. This is where my idea of buying wool or yarn with projects in mind kind of goes out the window. Then I was at the Dusty Dimples stall. We went around the place and found Dusty Dimples, who I'd seen on Instagram, and I got this skein of yarn which is called Torpid, and this is a 75% 25% merino nylon base yarn as well, and that is a pinky kind of purple colour. And I really loved, I was just drawn to this colour for some reason. Again, not sure what I'm going to do with it, but I had to have this one. So that is all I got from Unravel in terms of yarn. That there. But what else did I get? I bumped into Sharon from Sharon's Crafty Creations, and I was like, oh, I'm finally meeting you in person. It was so nice to be able to put a face, a physical face to the name, and to see that she's just like, oh, she's a lovely woman, very chirpy, happy, and as excited as I was to be at Unravel. And yeah, it was really, really nice to see her in person. I was quite nervous, I think. I was quite nervous about meeting people and nervous about being at Unravel for one reason or another. I don't know why I was nervous about being there, but I was. And she just kind of made me feel so comfortable when I was talking to her. So yeah, it was really nice to see her, and hopefully we'll get to meet up again in the future. And I also met up with, or bumped into, should I say, Laura from the Lonely Knitter podcast. Now, I'd only been watching her channel for, I don't know, about a week or two, and I felt like we had a lot in common. And when I saw her at Unravel, she'd said previously in one of her videos that if anyone sees her at Unravel, please do say hello, because she's going to be there on her own. And so I said hello. She had a couple of people that she was with. I think it was Sharon from, oh, I can't remember the name of the podcast. I'll try and leave all the information below. She was there with another lady and her daughter, and they were kind of going around together, and she was so nice, so kind to me. She was happy that I had stopped her and said hello, and she gave me this little bag with some goodies in it. Sorry, I'm biting my nails. And in the bag, together with some sweet treats, was this little skein of yarn, a little mini skein of yarn. Not quite sure what brand it is, but who cares? It was just so nice to receive a little gift from Laura. She didn't have to. She just, you know, she just voluntarily gave me this little gift to make me feel happy, and it really did put a smile on my face. And so yeah, I was just really happy to have been made to feel not like a weirdo for going up to her and saying hello when she had no clue who I am. So yeah, so that was really nice touch. Thank you so much, Laura. I did feel a lot more comfortable after that. You didn't make me feel like I'm some kind of strange person. So yeah, that was really nice. I did see a couple of YouTubers that I had recognised, but I just felt like they wouldn't know me or even know of me, so I wasn't about to go and say hello to them. People like Amy Florence from the Stranded Knits podcast, I think it's called, or Stranded podcast. I also saw Dunder Knit. She wouldn't have a clue who I am. I heard that Skein Day Knits was there, but I didn't see her. And Nikki from Tea and Possibilities was there, and I didn't see her. So I'm kind of disappointed that I didn't see her, because I would have liked to have just said a quick hello to her, even though she probably wouldn't know who I am either. But you know, she was, she seems like a very nice person too. But yeah, I saw people there, but you know, there was just so many people there. There was so much to get around and see, and we didn't leave. I think we got there about, what time? About 12:30, and we didn't leave till about 4 o'clock. So it was a good number of hours to be walking around and looking at yarn. So yeah, it was a good day out. It was a good day out. I enjoyed it, and I did pick up a couple of bits other than yarn. I picked up some stitch markers from Rebecca's Rooms, these ones, and I think these are going to go in a giveaway perhaps. These are called Smoke and Mirrors. And what else did I pick up? Some Higher Panda lid point protectors, needle stoppers, some little panda needle stoppers, and I think these are going to go in a giveaway as well. And yeah, oh, with the Lay Family yarns, forgot to mention, when I purchased this yarn, I got given a free pattern, and well, 2 free patterns. I got given I'm not sure if they're free or, anyway, this is one of them, Simply Lacy Socks. That was given to me with the yarn, and then this one here, Simply the Simplest Socks as well. So I haven't actually looked so much at where these came from, but yeah, I will have a look and see if I want to make these up. I think the Simply Lacy socks look interesting, so I might give those a go at some point. But I tend to not really do many pattern socks, in the sense that when I'm doing socks, I like to just do an easy to knit pattern. I just a mindless knitting, so I tend to do a lot of stocking stitch, just vanilla socks. So yeah, that's that. What else do I have to show you? I bought, oh yes, the stitch, the needle minder that I showed you from Denkai Designs. She, the woman on Etsy, the Denkai Designs shop, she actually sent me that needle minder encased in such lovely packaging. I took a photograph of the way she had packaged her product, and because I was like blown away. I was blown away by the packaging, and she gave me a free needle minder, which is this, and this is going to go in a giveaway. It's got the little button on the back, so it kind of, you slide it across and move your needle minder to where you want and snap the button in place, and it's really, really cute. This is a heart-shaped one. It's like a heart-shaped lollipop, basically. So those are her details there. She has an Etsy shop, and yeah, she's just, the packaging, the way she packaged her product, I was just amazed. I was just blown away. Blown away. I also bought some needle minders. No, not needle minders. What are they called? DPN cozies. I bought some DPN cozies from Craft House Magic. Not sure which one, but one of these is going to go in a giveaway. I really like these. You just unsnap, stick your needles in your DPNs project, and just, like, if you've got socks in there, you stick your DPNs in there, holds the sock in place, and then the sock just hangs from there. I think I showed you them a minute ago when I was doing the other socks. But yeah, that's that. So yes, those are all my incoming items. I feel like I've been rambling on for hours now. What else do I have to show you? Oh my goodness me, I nearly forgot. I have to do the prize for the Winter Warmers cowl. Give me a minute. I'm going to put all this stuff away, and then we will draw the winners for the Winter Warmer cowl. Okay, I have my daughter here to help me choose the numbers for the winners of the 4 prizes. So, hold on a second. So, the first prize we're going to choose for is the Winter Wonderland bag, which has been donated by Lisa Saxton of the Woolly Ferret podcast, and with this bag you get a little mini skein from her, and from me you get a Felt Fusion hand-dyed yarn. So let's see who's going to win this one first. Press the number. 90, go on. 97. Okay, number 97 is, let's see if we can find it. She's using random.org to generate the numbers, and now I've got to find 97. Where are we? Oops, maybe not that one. 97 is I Know Who You Are, and it was a winter accessory hat, and there you are. You win the project bag. So contact me on Ravelry, PM me, and let me have your details for mailing. So that is the Winter Wonderland project bag. Let me write it down. Here you are. The next winner will win this lovely project bag from Sharon of Sharon's Crafty Creations. And with this you will get a skein of Biff Sugar yarns. And this is in the colour Selkie. So who's going to win this one? Press it again.
117.
117. That's the last one. Hang on, not the last one. Hang on.
So
117 is the Zencha. So let me just expand that so you can see. This is post 117, the Zencha. And your name, let's see if I can find out what your name is. Ada. So if this is you, whoops, where's it gone? There we are. The Zencha, you have won the second project bag. So contact me, email me on Ravelry and let me have an address for mailing of that. That was 117. Okay, the next two numbers drawn will be for pattern prizes. So let's go. Go on then.
119.
Oh, that was close. So 119 pattern prize. And that one is very close by. And that is Sue, the family diva, with her, what is this? This is the I'll Be There For You shawl by Marlisha. There you are. Oops, it's gone all funny. Uh-oh, where did that go? 117 was it? 119. Why has it gone? It's flipped back. 119. There you go. That's Sue, family diva. You have won the first pattern prize. I think, let's see, I think it was Renna that was donating a pattern prize, and then one was from me. So I will contact Renna and let her know that you have won a pattern prize. And then there's one more pattern prize to draw for.
92.
Number 92. Let's see. Who is number 92? Ooh, oh no, I have to go back another page. So number 92 is, where are you? I'm in the 80s. 91, 92, oh my gosh. Sue,
Again.
family diva.
Again.
Yeah. You've won 2 pattern prizes. So you win a UK pattern prize and you win a US pattern prize. There you go. Sue, family diva with your socks. With your, what socks are they? Jemima socks by Kay Jones. So there we are. Those are our 4 winners. So that was Sue. So what was it? What was that number? 92 and 119. And they were both Sue family diva. Well done to everyone. Thank you everyone who entered. It was really nice seeing all the different entries in my make along, my first ever make along. It was really nice to see all these patterns coming up that I've not seen before. So you guys have introduced me to a lot of things that I could potentially work on. The information I need from the winners, please let me have that information on Ravelry. If you can PM me, personal message me on Ravelry with the details of where you want me to mail your item, okay? And I will get that out to you, get those out to you once I've packaged them up nicely. I do hope you'll enjoy those. Thank you everyone for taking part in this make along. It has been fun. There will be more in the future, but I do have still going on the Ready Set Go make along, or Cal Lau, which I am co-hosting with the Pennock and Needles channel, so do check that out. It's the Ready Set Go Cal Lau, I'm getting it wrong, aren't I? check that out in my Ravelry group. You can enter till the end of March for that one. The rules are in the chatter thread, so make sure you go through the rules before you enter. That is it. That is all I have to share with you. Thank you for my prize picker, my daughter, for picking those prizes for me. And thank you for watching, making it to the end of this video. I know it's been a really long one. I'm sorry about that. The next one won't be as long. But as you can imagine, or as you know, there have been a lot of things happening. So that is why. But yeah, I will be back in a month's time to do my next video, updating you on all the things I've been working on. And at that point, I guess we'll be picking a prize winner or a couple of prize winners for the Ready Set Go make along. I will at some point gather together the prizes for that and announce that possibly in a separate video, so that it's a little bit shorter than one like this. But yeah, essentially I'll be back in a month's time, so do come back then. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so by clicking the little button in the box below, and there's a little bell next to that, and it will notify you each time I upload a new video, so you don't have to keep wondering, have I uploaded, have I not. It will come up. Just click that bell. But that is it. I'm gonna go. It feels like I've been talking for ages. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time. Bye.